Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors, bringing it to you here from a gloomy Westlake Village, California, where it's normally sunny and 70 degrees every day of the week. Wishing you a happy and prosperous day. Now, I will jump right into it. April 14th. Everybody's talking about it. Tomorrow, the Coinbase IPO or direct listing. But what else is important this week? Also this week, major earnings from the banks and the financial sectors coming out this week. And well, which is a major catalyst for things to come and the market does like to move off these types of things. So what do we typically see into these type of events? You see a lot of sideways, and then as the event does unfold, direction is typically picked. So what were we saying about a week and a half ago? We were saying that based off of price structure, based off of volume structure, based off of volatility signature, that it was likely to take its time, grind out the top side of the range, and break through at the volume apex mid this week, right around the Coinbase IPO. And so what do we see here? The volume apex, let's put it on a daily. You can see the volume apex is coming, that's where it is right here. So let's just see where that volume apex is coming in at. Let's put the log on. Okay. Let's draw this line again. Volume apex. Come on, give me a break here. Looks like it's coming in. Right about there. So these things typically want to break at about 70% full. So when is that coming up? We're talking about the next couple of days. This resolution is lining up right here in the middle of this week with the Coinbase IPO. And I'd say based off of based off of volume structure, based off of volatility structure. So the volume apex, price getting higher lows and higher highs. I think we're lining up for a breakout right now. We're consolidating at a very high level. It's bullish, yes. So what do I do as a trader? I'm just marking off conditions for continuation or reversal. So on a 4-hour here, I'm looking at our last higher low, a pivot of 59,000, call it 800. Right there for managing risk to the downside, back down around 57. I'd say if we break that low, we could get a move all the way back down to 55,500. So obviously you need to have a plan for what to do if what you're thinking happens, and what to do if your thinking doesn't happen. Essentially risk management. What else did we see? We saw open interest added another 200 million of open interest, making new all-time highs on open interest, which should lead price action, which I believe is what we're getting here today with this little breakout right now. So that's what we're looking at. Bitcoin on a daily. And I do think tomorrow the IPO should be a catalyst for the resolution today or tomorrow. I think we could front run the market here a little bit today. But what do I think about the IPO? I think a lot of the old-time investors, the really big old money, right? They want to see how the Coinbase IPO lists first, then jump in on the side of the trend from there, right? I'm not the person for IPOs. It's not my expertise, but the whole thing is I don't want a piece of that. I'd rather just jump in on the side of the trend. So we're still looking at the short-term time frames here. We're just breaking out of the 4-hour. The last local high here was at 63,090. If we close this 4 hour, which looks like it's about to close here, we already got a closure above actually, indicating this, again, we haven't had the volume apex yet, but I'm beginning to think this is more and more the telltale signs of a breakout. So we did break out above the last local high at 62,800. And yeah, so I'm looking at that plus momentum oscillators, which are Stokes. On a 4 hour, they're crossed up, 10 hours crossed up, 12 hours crossed up, and the daily, let's see, 2 day, 3 day, and the weekly. Plus what we're going to see here is my face. Let's see if we can get my face back on. There, I'm back. Hopefully the recording kept going. So we got all of our daily, weekly, 4 hour, 10 hour, all these oscillators, our momentum oscillators are turned up. We've got hidden bullish divergence here on a daily. We've got it on a 12 hour and we've got it on a 4 hour, which is looking really nice. So what else do we have here? I would say, the last thing, historical volatility percentile. If we look at this on a daily, right, we went almost down to a 1 read. I mean, we're at a 9 right now. We're just starting to expand on the historical volatility percentile. So at any moment, this thing could really start. I mean, it won't take much to get this baby moving. Look, we are grinding out the all-time highs right here. Right, we're just grinding them out. And what does this mean? It's literally likely to break at any moment. I think we broke just now. When you're grinding out around the all-time highs or just around it, simply any support or resistance, it's usually going to break in that direction. We know this. Why? Support and resistance gets weaker the more that it gets tested. You know this intuitively. Well, why? Because of the psychological interpretation of this circumstance. It's pretty simple. If someone is selling around 62,000, at some point, they're going to lose equity to sell, right? You can see it on the other side. Buyers getting more and more aggressive, right? That's what it means when you see these higher lows being put in. It's an uptrend. That's the underlying psychology. Why an ascending triangle is typically going to break to the upside more likely. It's 72.5% more likely to break to the upside. So what is an ascending triangle? This is it. And I just moved up our resolution point there slightly, but this is an ascending triangle. So you take 50% of the width, apply it to that breakout. That's lining us up right at about 70,000 actually. And you could throw a Fibonacci retracement tool on there and see what that lines up with. I mean, yeah, we're coming in right hot. If you do by the bodies or the wicks, I mean, we're coming in right here. That's 72. Let's look at the bodies. 71,000. I mean, that looks like a clear measure move right there to me. If I had to take a little technical analysis, look at some of those underlying dynamics. Gosh, can't even get my words here straight. So, ascending triangles, right? They're testing the upside. The more you test resistance, which would be this line, or support would be that line, the weaker it gets, and it usually breaks to the upside. So another thing I think, again, we could touch on is this historical volatility percentile. When we get this low, I mean, literally, we're at a 10% read. That could break at any moment now. So I'm bullish. Like, this is a great setup to get resolved today or tomorrow or even right now. Again, you know, this is one of those times where I'm comfortable going long. So if it were me and I had to manage risk on a 4-hour, I'd be looking at this last higher low here at 59.9. If we get a break 4-hour closure below there, I'd be looking for a move down to about 55,500. 4-hour closure below there, I'm going to raise that up to 55.9, call it 56,000. 4-hour closure below there, I'd be looking for a move back to about 51,000. So otherwise, I'm bullish. As long as we're holding above these levels, I'm looking for a move up to that $68,000 read over the next week or so, or even the next few days. Checking in on SPY futures. We got a target of 41,050. Looks like we're heading for new all-time highs there on a daily and on a weekly. I mean, we're just looking really bullish in SPY. You've got the Dow Jones here. Believe we got a target here up, at about 3450. I think we're heading up that way. And then NASDAQ making new all-time highs today. And this is going to bode well for Bitcoin with earnings being priced in for this week for banks. Looks like they're pricing in what's expected. Banks are doing very well with all the money printing going on, all the monetization of the debt. Things, if they were going to be horrible or much worse than expected, the markets would probably be showing signs. Earnings projected or expected, and the relationship between the real forwards outlook, and that's how the market interprets earnings. So NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P looking bullish for new all-time highs, but I want to check in with Ripple here, which has been most exciting as of lately. I'm not part of the Ripple army, but there is no denying this uptrend, so I don't see XRP stopping here. Probably heads back to all-time highs up there at $3 or $3.25. Like the rest of the all-time altcoins, they're all getting a chance to party right now. If we check in on Ethereum, new all-time highs at 2,300 today, probably heading up to $3,000. Let's even look at Tezos. We're at 660. I mean, we were calling that one back at 380. Great project, competitor to Ethereum. Let's take a look at DOT. DOT's not quite broken its all-time high, $50, but looks like it's heading up there. And what else did I want to check in on? Let's see. Was it Link? That's Link BTC. Litecoin. That's what I wanted to see. Litecoin looks like we are about to break all-time highs. Wow. I know some people that took but let's take a look. So XRP not stopping. I'll get back on that. Where's my XRP armies? All my people in the XRP army. There it is. So I'd be using this as a risk management point. Any kind of a 4-hour close below there, that level, I mean, I think I might have just moved that a bit. I would use this last higher low. Any kind of a closure below here, I'm looking for a move back down to 113. Other than that, XRP Army, go, go, go. So let's talk Bitcoin. Let's get back onto Bitcoin and gold and inflation and SDRs, this new account of money, new form of money for countries to participate in. The IMF, and I'll bring you onto this article, has their own currency. It's called an SDR, been around since the 50s and 60s. Kind of like a token, but allows countries to borrow or have special drawing rights. And the last 40 years, the IMF has been very conservative in allowing people to draw on these SDRs. But in light of the coronavirus, the IMF has increased their loan balance sheet by $700 billion. That's with a B. So almost $1 trillion of SDRs. They're just going to be printing them, creating inflation on top of what the Fed has already done, the ECB, the Bank of England, and the Bank of Japan. The point is inflation. And John Kennedy, the Louisiana senator, asked Yellen about his concerns that all the SDR money wasn't going to be helping the U.S. And the Biden plan is going to require the IMF to issue trillions of dollars of $80 billion. So he was saying, Yellen, you want to help all these countries, but only 10% of that money is going to go to the poor countries. Where does the other 90% go? And it's going to help China, and it's going to help Russia. And why is that? The dollar represents 60% of the IMF basket. So we're lending to China and Russia. They're drawing down dollars they don't have. So let's just help their economy, right? Let's just look at the money printing aspect, right? If you're creating more money, all these countries in the IMF have to put money into the fund, right? They're all having to print more money. So what would happen in the value of our assets? Every country in the world is printing all this money. No doubt, money creation leads to the debasement of currency. We have 800 fiat currencies in the history of the world. All of them went to zero. All of them went to zero. That started creating inflation. So I think we're running an experiment, and we know how it ends, right? It's not like we don't have history, right? Plenty of examples of other nations who continue to print money, and that's why I think we're definitely playing with fire here. And that's why the other stable assets like Bitcoin and limited supply assets, scarce assets, have been performing so well. You've got a finite supply asset competing with an infinite supply. So when comparing gold and Bitcoin in the last 6 months, one might be wondering, why is gold down, right? I'm sure there are lots of explanations. My reasoning has to do with a generational shift. A lot of young people, there is a migration of trillions of dollars of inheritance that's happening right now. You know, these young kids get a few ounces of gold from their parents, and they're converting it into Bitcoin and tech stocks. Bitcoin, if you look, there was a chart. I was going to try and pull it up here. Bitcoin fund flows versus gold ETFs. Bitcoin funds have actually received $95 billion in the last 6 months. Gold ETFs, $47 billion. So they're on a clear decline, gold ETFs, down from about, it looks like about 60 billion. So clearly there's some shift in demand from gold ETFs to Bitcoin. I'd say maybe 50% of the allocation, especially that inheritance money. And keep in mind, two of the largest buyers, right, they're always buying gold, and well, they're getting bailed out with our money now with SDRs. So Bitcoin is having a boom. The Coinbase IPO, Square payments, there's a scarce supply, increase in demand. That's why Bitcoin is rising. Bitcoin is mainly a store of value and doomsday insurance policy. And well, we have mass institutional adoption. Everyone who did not have an allocation to Bitcoin realize that they now have to have an allocation of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So you can see it in Coinbase's numbers. They had 240 billion in reserves, at least. Half of that is bought by institutional customers, where last year they only had 10 billion in institutional funds. So it's a FOMO by institutions, but is buying Bitcoin permanent or just a temporary thing? You know, I think a lot of people ask that question. It's great for us here. A boom in prices makes our clients happy. Do I expect Bitcoin as a form of payment? Visa, PayPal, they're allowing Bitcoin as a form of payment. You can directly purchase goods with Bitcoin. You don't have to even convert to dollars. I think it's really revolutionary. The best example of this is Tesla, though. Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, telling you that he will give you a brand new Tesla for your Bitcoin, right? He's going to take your Bitcoin and store it. He's not even going to sell it. So why do you think, right, or who do you think has the right or the good side of this deal? You ending up with a Tesla that may end up costing you $500,000, or Elon Musk ending up with several Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a store of value that has increased its value every year for the last decade. It's not something that should be used as a form of payment. You're going to feel real bad driving that Tesla every day if you know it cost you $500,000, right? Every Shopify store owner, guess what? They now get a Coinbase account. Does it mean you should give them your Bitcoin? No. Do I think every bank account holder in America is going to end up having a digital wallet? Yes. Do you need Tesla or MicroStrategies to buy your Bitcoin for you? No. So each person has to decide for themselves, right? If the Biden spending plan is good for the U.S., good for you personally, and well, is it good for the U.S. dollar? And I'm sure we'll be divided. We have to wait and see how the grand experiment ends. But we are borrowing into the future, and our kids and our grandkids, they're going to have to pay this money back in the future, and the interest on these bills, right? So I'm not a big believer in deficit or spending money you don't have, but this is what our country has been doing for the last 50, 60 years, and we're still the superpower, right? We are still the superpower on the planet. Now, I'm an Austrian economist, so I'm waiting for someone to explain to me how this is going to end in any kind of a good way. But that's why I have positions in gold. I have positions in Bitcoin. My Bitcoin outlook, we've been hovering around $50,000, $60,000 Bitcoin. Coinbase goes public tomorrow. I think we're going to get a straight shot to 68,000. I think there will be millions of people who see the IPO on TV, radio, internet, or somewhere else, and they're all going to be scratching their head, right? They're going to go, I missed the window, or are they going to go, wait a second, should I pay for my Tesla with Bitcoin? I really think it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. People will figure this out. People are naturally going to move to whatever gives them autonomous control over their finances. I see us going to $160,000 Bitcoin, but ending the year probably below 100,000. So I think there's still a lot of upside. This is not financial advice, but I see Bitcoin going higher. And I'd recommend you'd reach out to one of our Bitcoin advisors here to help you with all your cryptocurrency needs. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They're available for live trading. We also do a self-directed Bitcoin and Ethereum IRA where you can diversify a portion of your retirement account into physical Bitcoin or Ethereum. You can visit our website at Bitcoin Advisors and get your free crypto investor guide today, or give us a call at 800-451-0662. All right, I'm signing out from Westlake Village, California, wishing you a blessed and prosperous day. Take care.